people over around this area.
Sewerage, electricity and water supplies are gradually being restored. But right through the city's eastern suburbs, roads and bridges are damaged. It will be many months before Christchurch is back on its feet. Tania Page, AlJazeera, Christchurch, New Zealand.
Anger over Ireland's battered economy is set to dominate parliamentary elections. Voters are expected to vent their anger at the Fianna Fáil party, widely blamed for the country's debt crisis. Rory Challens reports from Dublin.
Look at Ireland's tourist board video and it's obvious what they want visitors to see here. A land of green lanes, friendly pubs and Celtic charm. But banking crises and humiliating European bailouts have hurt Ireland's image overseas. Hoteliers like Joe O'Flynn say they're fighting a losing battle worsened by bad government policy.
The room rates have been driven down to unsustainable levels, artificially supported by the banks, who won't lend to small businesses, but yet are expecting us to compete with them on a level playing field.
Ireland's tourism industry claims it can help power the country out of its economic woes if the incoming government makes some changes. There are big claims being made for what tourism can do for Ireland's current situation. Create 21,600 new jobs, generates $8.5 billion in revenues and $2.3 billion in taxes towards the battered public purse. The industry's flag wavers are making sure politicians on the campaign trail are listening.
All of the political parties actually have targeted tourism as one area that has potential to make a significant contribution, and a lot of policies have been suggested to get the tourism product back on track.
It certainly seems to tourists who've made it here like the island experience.
It's quite clear that they're suffering at the moment. I think obviously after the boom there's become a very, very quick bust, but we've really enjoyed the culture of the place.
I really like all the green grasses around the city, and I really think the Irish people is really friendly.
Everywhere we go, it's beautiful, and I would definitely come back again.
So it's up to the next leaders of this country, whoever they may be, to make sure there are enough tourist dollars to get Ireland moving again. Rory Challens, AlJazeera, Dublin.
Toyota is recalling more than 2 million vehicles in the United States. It's the latest safety scare involving the world's #1 car maker. Well, this time it's to address accelerator pedals that could become trapped in floor mats. Boeing has beat Airbus to a $35 billion contract with the US Air Force. Pentagon officials said Boeing would be awarded an initial $3.5 billion to design and deliver 18 refueling tanker jets in 6 years' time. And now, roaring off to space for the very last time.
2, 1. Booster ignition. And the
taking off for its final mission, the shuttle Discovery launched from Kennedy Space Center into the Florida sky. It's on an 11-day mission to supply the International Space Station. Shuttle spotters will get just 2 more chances to view a liftoff. Endeavour and Atlantis will make their final flights by June before NASA retires the shuttle fleet. This is Al Jazeera, and these are the stories making the headlines now. Residents in Libya's second-largest city of Benghazi claim new photos show mercenaries hired by Muammar al-Gaddafi to crack down on protesters. The embattled leader is blaming al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden for the uprising against him. It was Gaddafi's second address to the nation, but this time by phone. Libya's capital, Tripoli, remains locked down, but more video is now emerging of how much control Muammar Gaddafi has apparently lost in the east. Protesters have been showing journalists what they've managed to seize in the city of Shahat. And the US president says the violent crackdown on protesters is indecent. But Barack Obama has stopped short of announcing direct action against Gaddafi. The crisis in Libya is continuing to impact those global oil prices. The world's top oil exporter, meanwhile, Saudi Arabia, trying to reassure concerned countries, saying it will step in to fill any shortfall. While that's eased concerns somewhat, the price per barrel for London Brent crude is still above $110 a barrel. Iraq's government has imposed a curfew in Baghdad before planned demonstrations later on Friday. Prime Minister Noor al-Maliki has urged people not to take part, warning they could be attacked by al-Qaeda. Well, thousands of people unhappy with the performance of their new government are expected to rally. Rescue teams are continuing to scour rubble after a powerful earthquake in New Zealand. The threat of aftershocks is hampering the operation. 113 people are known to have died, but some 200 are still missing. Hopes are fading of finding more survivors. The United Nations says it will extend its mandate for peacekeepers in East Timor for another year. The Security Council says its personnel will stay on to help the local police force strengthen its credibility. Toyota is recalling more than 2 million vehicles in the United States. It's the latest safety scare involving the world's #1 car maker. This time it's to address accelerator pedals that could become trapped in floor mats. Toyota has now recalled more than 14 million vehicles globally since 2009 and faces dozens of lawsuits from owners. Well, Boeing has beaten Airbus to a $35 billion contract with the US Air Force. Pentagon officials said Boeing would be awarded an initial $3.5 billion to design and deliver refueling tankers.
The most populated country on Earth, the world's fastest growing economy, a land undergoing profound change. Al Jazeera presents Faces of China, a series of films from Chinese filmmakers working independently, telling personal stories in their own way. This is an insider's look at China. In this episode, one elderly woman's life inside a private retirement home in southern China. Filmmaker Zheng Xiaolei turns the camera on the issue of China's aged population growing rapidly. Elderly people are traditionally venerated, but these days there are fewer young people to care for them, something the state is aware may begin to have an impact on the speed of China's development. There are almost 167 million people aged over 60 in China today. Here at the Longevity House retirement home in the suburb of Guangzhou in southern China, there are over 2,500 elderly